Hi, first graders. Welcome back to Poetry. Today we're going to talk about sensory poems, or sometimes they're called five senses poems. A sensory poem is an unrhymed poem that describes a feeling or a thing. It describes by telling how it sounds, smells, tastes, looks, and feels. Our five senses are what we see with our eyes, what we hear with our ears, what we smell with our noses, what we taste with our mouths, and what we touch or feel with our hands or even just our skin. These are the five senses, and poets use them a lot to bring their poems to life. Let's look for some sensory words, five senses words, in this poem, The Perfect Cup of Cocoa. I'll read, and then I'll look for some sensory words. The perfect cup of cocoa is rich and chocolatey, and always warm but not too hot, a steaming chocolate sea. The surface is enclosed beneath a thick marshmallow mound, which melts into a gooey cloud without the slightest sound. A whipped cream swirl extends beyond the surface of the cup, and chocolate sprinkles add the perfect touch to dress it up. The perfect cup of cocoa is like an old best friend. It's warm, it's sweet, it's such a treat, and yummy till the end. I like that poem a lot because it really makes me want a yummy cup of hot chocolate. Let's think about some of the five senses words that we heard in this poem. Well, one thing that I heard was always warm but not too hot. That makes me think of the touch or feel sense. I can feel that hot but not too hot mug of hot chocolate in my hands. I also heard the words without the slightest sound. Well, sound automatically makes me think of what you can hear, another one of your five senses. The words thick marshmallow mound and a gooey cloud makes me visualize in my mind that thick marshmallowy whipped cream all piled up really high. That's something that I would be able to see in a cup of hot chocolate. I also heard the words it's sweet, yummy till the end in this poem. Well, anything that's sweet or yummy automatically makes me think of taste. I can taste that sweet and yummy hot chocolate. So this poem didn't have what I could smell, but it did have the other five senses, what I could touch, hear, see, and taste. Sometimes poems also use those words, looks, smells, sounds like, tastes like, to make you hear and see and feel all those five senses in a different way. Here's an example of a color sensory poem called Yellow. Yellow looks like, that's what you can see, a bright sunflower. Yellow smells like a cool, fresh lemonade. Yellow sounds like a chirping canary. Yellow tastes like a sour lemon drop. Yellow feels like the warm sunshine on my face. Yellow. Let's listen to some ways that I can write some five senses poems. First, I'm going to show you how to write a sensory color poem. This is where you choose a color. I'm going to choose the color brown and think about what that color looks like, smells like, sounds like, tastes like, and feels like. I'm going to start by thinking about what the color brown looks like. Well, what is something that I can see that is the color brown? Oh, well, I know that my eyes are the color brown, so I can say brown looks like my eyes. What is something that brown smells like? Oh, when I think of something that smells really good that's also the color brown, I think about yummy, delicious brownies fresh from the oven. So I think brown smells like fresh baked brownies. What does brown sound like? Ooh, I know. When it's fall outside and the leaves change color and then fall from the trees, they turn brown and get very crunchy. So I think brown sounds like crunchy leaves. What does brown taste like? Ooh, I know brown probably tastes like some delicious hot chocolate. Brown tastes like hot chocolate. What does brown feel like? What is something that I can feel or touch that is also brown? Oh, I remember I wrote a poem about Maisie, my dog, the other day, and her fur is brown and it's very soft. So brown feels like Maisie's soft fur. And I can add the word brown at the end. Here's my color sensory poem. Brown. Brown looks like my eyes. Brown smells like fresh baked brownies. Brown sounds like crunchy leaves. Brown tastes like hot chocolate. Brown feels like Maisie's soft fur. Brown. Another way that you can write a 5 senses poem is to choose an idea from your heart map. I think I'll choose to write about New York City today. This is where I live, this is where all of you live too, and there's lots of different things that I can hear, see, smell, taste, and touch in New York City. I'll use this paper this time. That doesn't have anything to do with the color, but it still has the 5 senses to help me get started. I think I'll call my poem NYC, which stands for New York City. NYC. Let's see. In New York City, I see lots of tall buildings. So I'll put that there. Tall buildings. In New York City, I know something that I can feel, not really touch with my fingers, but I can feel it on my skin, is the wind when the train or the subway zips by. I feel the wind as the train zips by. What do I hear? Well, in New York City, I hear so many different sounds, but I think one that I hear a lot are different cars and taxis honking their horns. So I hear taxis honking their horns. I hear that all the time in New York City. What do I smell in New York City? Well, it's springtime right now, so every time I go outside, I smell all the flowers, and I especially smell lots of flowers in Central Park when I go there. So I smell flowers in Central Park. What do I taste in New York City? Well, there's lots of amazing food to eat here, but one thing that I especially love is all the delicious pizza. So I taste delicious cheesy pizza. Let's read my poem one more time. It's called NYC. I see tall buildings. I feel the wind as the train zips by. I hear taxis honking their horns. I smell flowers in Central Park. I taste delicious cheesy pizza. There is my 5 senses poem. So there is how you write some 5 senses or sensory poems. For your assignment today, choose one option of the types of poems that I wrote. You can write a 5 senses color poem using the color poem template, or you can choose to write a 5 senses poem about any topic that you want and use that 5 senses poem paper and your heart map to help you. Have fun, first graders. Can't wait to read your poems.